Action or fail fortitude, part of NR Nerdy Opinion.
We're here at AllCon, but if you're not down with that, we got two words for you. Theme song!
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, we are part of NR Nerdy Opinion. This is technically episode 2 of an ongoing series that I am starting to do back up again, which is called Action's Top 10. What this is a top 10 of my favorite stuff for whatever particular topic I'm doing. And as you've seen on the schedule here for AllCon, this is Death Battle Debates. Death Battle is run by a group from screwattack.com. They have a website and they're also on YouTube. What they do is they take two pop culture figures from comic books, video games, movies, anime, whatever, and they actually go do a full-on analysis on both characters, and then they animate a fight for you and tell you who they think would win and why.
And they take every feat, every weakness, even if it was just from a one-off episode or comic.
And I've submitted a bunch of ideas myself, and a couple of them they've actually used. I remember submitting Dan Hibiki from Street Fighter versus Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Z.
The world champion!
And I did that one as a gag. I didn't think they would actually take it, but they did, and it was awesome.
Probably one of my favorite episodes.
But I've compiled my top 10 list of stuff I want to see, so I'm going to share them with you right now. And after I get through this list, then we're going to randomly pick some people out of my audience to actually debate on some of these. That's where the debate contest comes in, on who you think would win and why. So because of that, I'll give you a brief introduction to these characters, myself and Jeremy will, but we're not going to really give you our 2 cents on who we think would win. We're going to keep those thoughts to ourselves. So I'm going to start off with my top 10 list here. So starting with number 10, I don't know, I know like at least 2 or 3 of y'all are. I don't know how many of y'all are 90s kids. Woo! This is for the 90s kids here. And number 10 is Hammerman versus Meteor Man. Now these are 2 of the most underrated black superheroes from the 90s. But respectively speaking, created by MC Hammer and Robert Townsend for the animated show and the movie. I'll just give you a brief breakdown of those 2, because I know there are some folks in here that are young ones compared to us. Hammerman uses the power of music. His power source is his shoes, and he can materialize musical notes, musical bars, and anything of the sort to do pretty much whatever he wants. He can fly with them, he can tie people down with them, he can use musical notes as weapons, melee and ranged weapons. He can just do it all. Yeah, and of course, yes, the entire series was musically choreographed by MC Hammer himself. Yeah, but Meteor Man, consider him a meteor version of Superman. He can practically do everything Superman can do, except his power source is a meteor that he absorbs into his body, and it gives him his powers. And again, he can pretty much do whatever Superman can do, with 2 exceptions. For some reason, he can talk to dogs. We still don't know why, but he can. And the other thing is, if he touches a printed piece of work, like a book or a magazine,
he instantly learns it.
He absorbs that knowledge into his brain, and he knows that thing cover to cover for 30 seconds. There was a scene in the movie where he touched a kung fu book, and he became a kung fu master for 30 seconds and whooped everybody's ass. It was very entertaining. But I would love to see these 2 throw down, mainly just to remind people that these guys exist. And
the funny thing is, the key thing about that being existing, I knew who Meteor Man was. I had no idea about him.
Same here. I've seen him. I've never heard of the hero.
Yeah, I remember Nostalgia Critic's cover on that too. It was actually pretty awesome. Okay, so that's number 10. Number 9. Now I'm going to preface this real quick. The only reason I put this as number 9 is because Screw Attack is already planning on doing this. But they're not going to do it just yet because there's another movie coming out and they want to get more information about it. So that's why I didn't rank it higher. But I wanted to at least bring it to the table here for this panel to get you guys' thoughts on it.
So our first family versus
The Incredibles versus the Fantastic Four.
There you go.
So I saw this idea. A lot of people in the community are talking about it, and I think it's a fantastic idea. I'm pretty sure everybody here knows who both of these groups are, but pretty much most of what the Fantastic Four can do, the Incredibles can do, minor exception of Dash, who's, in my opinion, Quicksilver. A lot of people say the Flash, but he's not quite on the Flash's level just yet.
Not yet.
It's not yet. Right now, he's Quicksilver to me. But the reason Death Battle's not doing this yet is because there's a 2nd movie coming out later this year for the Incredibles. They want to wait till that comes out to see if there's any new information popping about the Incredibles before they actually start talking about this. Yeah, what's up?
Is there a way to gauge whether or not Mr. Incredible can actually damage Ben Grimm? Because that's the big kicker.
Yeah, that is a part of it too. That's why they want to wait for a second.
Because that robot in the first movie, he couldn't damage it. He had to use the robot's arm because he wasn't strong enough to break its armor.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to bring this to the table here to see what you guys thought about it. Go ahead.
Are we not incorporating their baby?
That's another question that they want to bring up. Does the baby get thrown in or not?
Movie's definitely going to answer that for sure.
Yeah.
The second movie is the catalyst for this death battle. Because if it wasn't for that, it'd be a little bit more of an even fight to a degree.
Yeah, to a degree.
But this next movie is really going to be like, do they get advancement in their powers or not?
Right.
So that's why I think we need to hold this one off.
Okay, but if you guys do want to talk about it as part of the debate contest, you know, we'll definitely throw those ideas around. But we'll get to that in a moment.
Ocho.
So, number 8 is for the Overwatch fans, in my honest opinion. This is Snake Eyes versus Genji. For those who are not familiar with G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes is from G.I. Joe, and if you've seen Overwatch, then you know who Genji is. But I consider both of these two almost one and the same. A couple minor differences.
On par.
They pretty much are. Aside from Genji having throwing stars in his cyborg arm and Snake Eyes actually carrying firearms. Other than that, they're actually pretty similar.
What the hell is he seeing in that?
It's the little eye slits in the visor. You know, and so I figured this would actually be a pretty even fight. It's really even hard for me to call,
Well, I already know in my heart who's going to win.
Well,
I can't say
the
that.
only thing with that is Genji's supernatural power would be a huge advantage over Snake Eyes.
Yeah, perhaps, but it also wouldn't be the first time that Snake Eyes has taken on superhuman individuals either. So
Yeah, true.
that's why I was like, it's kind of hard to tell.
Everything is taken into account.
Yeah, that's why I want to hear you guys' thoughts on these in the debate, if you actually choose that one. So anyway, number 7, I'm thinking a little bit outside the box on this one. It's supposed to win after. But number 7 is Stewie Griffin versus Dexter.
That's actually pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
The similarities between these two kids is crazy.
I think Stewie is willing to go further than Dexter. I think that's the only thing.
Until you make Dexter really mad and hurt his ego. Think about it. They're both egotistical. They both have laboratories in their room. They both have a family that they more or less care about, yet despise.
Especially their sisters.
They're sisters.
One's not sharing with the other. You gotta give you mad.
But here's the other thing that I let Kev know about this last night. They both have accents despite their family being American.
That's crazy. That's crazy, but I kind of hope this one gets selected later because I want to read off of this.
I can think of so many jokes just because of the accents too.
Okay, so number 6. This one is the one I really thought outside the box. It uses a real person against a fictional person, but again, they've done Chuck Norris before, so I'm pretty sure they could.
Why not this one?
So why not? This is Muhammad Ali versus Rocky Balboa. We have the ultimate underdog versus arguably the greatest of all time. Both of these guys, similar weight classes. Both of these guys, similar fighting styles. Hugging the ropes, looking for your opening. Both of them have beaten people who are larger and significantly stronger than them. In case in point, Muhammad Ali against George Foreman. Case in point, Rocky Balboa against Ivan Drago.
Or Clubber Lang.
Or Clubber Lang.
Or Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That too. So
Then Muhammad Ali beat Superman.
Get that little beatbox.
Yeah, so all these ideas, I wanted to see if y'all could come up with some ideas for the debate game when we get to that point. I really want Death Battle to cover this because
I really want to see this too because they've already shown what they could do with a death battle between two boxers, i.e. Balrog versus TJ combo. And that was a 3-round spectacle that you need to see.
Yeah, and they've also done a 1-minute melee of Ippo
versus Little Mac.
Yeah, Ippo versus Little Mac, which was incredible. So, number 5, ironically enough, I did put at number 5 because of the setup that I have for this. This is the Teen Titans versus the Power Rangers.
Morphin' time, people.
Now, I have to preface this before we go into this, okay? These 5 versus these 5. Okay?
No Tommy.
No extended teams.
Sorry, Jason David Frank, you're not getting a paycheck.
Yeah, so no swords for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
No extended teams, no special Titans vehicles, no Power Zords. Just a 5-on-5 fight, last team standing wins. And when you look at it, I see similarities between both of these guys, both of these teams. First of all, Robin and Jason, the gung-ho leaders that are addicted to training. Beast Boy and Zach, the laid-back comic relief of the teams.
Cyborg
and Billy, the brains of the teams. Raven and Trini, my waifu. Sarfar and Pink and Kimberly, everybody else's waifu. Yeah, I just thought those last two facts were actually kind of comical there. But I did pitch this one as well, to Death Battle, and I really want to see them break this down, because this will be incredible. Okay, so number 4, I'm going back to Overwatch again. Number 4 is d.va versus Tron Bonne.
Yeah. One of my waifus right there.
Yes, so we got two girls who love action, love combat, and pilot mechs. Couple of factoids about each one. If you're not familiar with Overwatch, or Mega Man Legends at least, d.va does have a sidearm if she's not in her mech. Her mech has unlimited ammo, has rockets, and can self-destruct.
Also has a shield that she can use temporarily to save herself.
Yes, Tron Bonne's mech is more designed for melee combat, but it's actually very solid, very fast for the type of mech that it is. Plus, she also has assistance from her serve bots, which serve as her projectiles, so to speak. And they can also assist in melee. So really, it's an interesting mix up here. Of course, we have our ideas of who we think would win, but we're going to save those. Thoughts for ourselves.
Hour 2
until the second hour. Okay, so number 3. This is old school versus reboot. This is
ultimate battle of youth versus old, senpai versus
Yes.
I do not even know the other word for senpai. Thank you.
So number 3 is Drake Parker versus Daniel LaRusso.
Oh. The Karate Kid versus the Kung Fu Kid.
Basically. Okay, now quick breakdown of these. Now, before I even saw the reboot Karate Kid, I literally thought that it was going to be a modern take on Daniel LaRusso, just starring Jaden Smith. No, they're actually two separate people, for those who didn't know. So Jaden Smith trained under Mr. Han, basically Jackie Chan, and everything Jackie Chan knows, Jaden Smith knows. So the mix-up in the Chinese martial arts. Whereas Daniel LaRusso trained under the Miyagi-style karate, which in and of itself does incorporate other different factors into it, but it's mostly about solid defense, controlling your opponent, and swift deadly strikes.
And hunking your enemy's nose.
Basically. So while Drake Parker seems a little bit more versatile because of all the different styles, Daniel LaRusso seems more solid in his single style. So I still think
it's going to be a very interesting fight.
With Daniel LaRusso, would you count all the other Karate Kid movies, or just the ones since James?
Well,
in Death Battle, they count.
They count everything. They consider everything.
It may seem a little unfair, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and keep those thoughts in mind if you guys end up debating
for Dory Swank.
She doesn't care.
So, number 2, I will do my best to not be biased on this.
Kev, hold back on that.
I'm going to hold back as best as I can. Okay? Number 2, Captain Cold versus May. The reason I have to hold back on this is
his ultimate waifu.
That's my waifu right there. So
now I see why
this is where I take over on this. So
go ahead, break it down.
Captain Cold, villain, master of ice, especially with his gun. May, literally a hero who does the same thing.
Climatologist is their actual job.
Thank you. I was trying to remember that. This is ultimately going to be a battle of who is the master of whose element more. They both specialize in ice. They both know how to withstand the cold as offense and defense. It's really going to come out to who knows who better.
Yeah, which is one of the first ideas this year at least that I actually pitched that down because I really want to see this. Plus,
and if you really know these characters, the answer is very simple.
So we're going to just go top to bottom. So we're going to start with The Incredibles versus The Fantastic Four. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you guys each 30 seconds. So
would you like for me to start time this kid?
In a bit, yeah, keep the timing.
So the highest number
gets to choose which side they're going to debate for. 2, 15. Okay, you get first dibs.
I love both, but I'll go Fantastic Four.
Okay, so you're going to debate for the Fantastic Four, you're debating for the Incredibles, and you will get a start serve whenever he's ready.
Okay, I'd like to start things off with my first argument that the Marvel Universe has been a solidified universe that has been in existence way before the Incredibles universe has even started. So, the history, the lineage of the Fantastic Four itself has way more to back it up in a fight versus the Incredibles. There is way more experience, way more challenges, bigger events. They've traveled through the galaxy, they've traveled all over the world, whereas the Incredibles have been limited in their experiences and abilities, especially with the fact that they only have 2 children who've only been on one true mission. So, experience.
Time. Okay. Keith, you have something
Ready, and go.
Alright, so minus Mr. Incredible's gauge of strength, Dash easily with his energy puts, I don't even remember, puts Johnny Storm out. He's gone. Alright, Miss Elastic, she keeps Mr. Elastic busy. Now, Mr. Elastic, he's a little squirrely, if I remember correctly. I read Ultimate Fantastic Four, maybe that's on a good basis. So he's a little squirrely. He tries not to hurt her, but he doesn't exactly give up either. Now, I don't. Violet.
Time.
Oh, okay. I thought it went out for a second. Okay, so
it's difficult because I'm actually for Fantastic Four.
Initial arguments are out. You get a 30-second rebuttal if you wish.
Okay.
And go.
Okay, your first statement was that Dash already takes out Human Torch. You didn't explain how he takes him out. That doesn't make any sense. How does his speed trump the actual intensity of the heat of the sun, which has been already proven in the comics that his heat source is that intense? You didn't really explain how the Incredibles beat the other team. You just made their matchup. So yes, you got Mr. Fantastic versus Elastigirl, but how does she beat him? Violet doesn't even fully know how to control her power, so how's she going to be Invisible Woman? Plus, Violet...
Time.
Okay. Do you wish for a 30-second rebuttal?
Sure.
Okay.
Go.
So, being in that Baxter building, these 4 really care about their public image. It's been proven both in the mainstream and Ultimate Universe. They get seen fighting 2 children, they're going to be squirrely about that for sure. So that's what Mr. Fantastic and Mrs. Fantastic use to their advantage. Now, it's easy to motivate a kid to fight. It's easy to motivate a kid to fight, especially Dash. He ain't going to hold back. So yes, you're right. Johnny Storm's intensity is high, but he's not going to use this kid, no way.
Okay. Alright, so, audience, what's your thoughts on those arguments then?
I would like to say that the way that Dash could trump the Human Torch.
Well, before we continue, we're not adding on extra. We're just rating the debates.
what did you think about our argument?
I felt that Sean was actually arguing while Keith didn't really say too much about the Incredibles or like how they would themselves beat the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Yeah. He also, Sean seemed to have more reasons into how they defeat the Incredibles, whereas Sean didn't really explain or answer those questions. Keith, sorry, Keith didn't really explain the answer. Well, kind of I guess skill-wise how Flash could beat Johnny Storm or how Elastigirl could beat Mr. Fantastic.
Okay. Alright, so it sounds as though Sean gave him a more solid argument, pointing to him.
Yeah, I don't have a good argument for them, I really don't.
Yeah. hey, at least the man's honest about it.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, point to Sean. So
First blood to Sean. Give it up, come on.
Let me get my reference ticket here. Okay, so the next one down the line. Let me rewind. There we go. So next one right down the line is Stewie Griffin versus Dexter. Okay.
Oh, that Dexter. I was thinking the other. My argument just changed completely now.
Stewie wants to murder his mother, so it's not necessarily an
I was thinking murderer versus murderer.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not all the way not far off.
Not genius little person versus genius little person. Now I got it. Okay, now I got it better.
Okay, so Keith, you lost the last battle. You get first pick.
I'm going to go ahead and pick Stewie.
Okay, Keith for Stewie, Sean for Dexter. Okay, Keith, you get 30 seconds.
Alright, so with evenly matched skills, this is going to come down to a battle of wits. Now, once again, both very motivated individuals. Stewie's a come-from-behind kind of guy. He's very, he undercuts just about anybody. He's willing to do just about anything to take anybody out. I think he's been seen to hide weapons all over the place, pull them out at random, out of nowhere. So I think with that, he definitely has a clear advantage in the beginning for sure. He has weapons everywhere, and he knows how to use them, absolutely.
Time.
Okay. Sean.
All right, so yes, Stewie has the genius in technology, but Dexter has an entire lab hidden underneath the house. His weapon technology capacity far outweighs Stewie's. And I'm going to trump you on one other thing. Not only does he have weapon technology, but he has more assistants. The only partner that Stewie has is Brian Griffin, that's it. And he's kind of a messed up drunk, whereas Dee, as chaotic as she can be, his sister has been known to help him from time to time and would definitely be a thorn in Stewie's side, and Stewie would not know how to manipulate or control her chaoticness.
Time.
Okay. Keith, would you like a rebuttal?
Would you?
Yes.
Okay, and Ghost.
Only thing I have left to say is Stewie has been proven to be a complete and total sociopath. Make the enemy think they're fighting him, but they're actually fighting themselves. They're turning themselves inside out, and I believe he can definitely accomplish that against Dexter. Dexter's anger gets the better of him very, very easily, and Stewie's going to exploit that to the full extent. Time.
Okay.
He has 10 seconds left, folks.
Okay.
What? You ready?
Sean.
And go.
Alright, so yes, his anger is a weakness, absolutely, but it can also be used as a strength. Usually when Dexter's anger goes so far off whack, he's able to utilize that anger to go full rage mode with some of his more weaponized, larger equipment and go full chaotic. Yes, he can destroy his own lab, but would Stewie be able to control that level of anger and frustration in the moment? And again, Dee coming in, her chaos on top of the chaos of Dexter's anger would be far superior than anything Stewie's ever handled. Usually Stewie operates under the illusion of him dissipating.
Okay. Yeah.
Audience.
That was pretty solid. Audience, what do you guys think?
That was tough. That was tough.
What y'all think?
As I say, Keith is got it. This kid's crazy. He's crazy.
It's,
I mean, you bring Brian the dog and Dee, ooh, puppy! Dee's gone.
He's crazy. So you've got 10.
I don't think that counts any more times up, but still.
You've got to be more sharp. You point out that it is basically crazy evil versus
Neutral.
control evil. So crazy evil is out of control. So we agree 100%.
That was a very D&D-esque answer.
yeah, I actually like that. So,
Yes.
okay.
This one was tough.
Yeah, this one was a really tough one. If I had to pick based on just those arguments, and I'm thinking about outside stuff that they didn't talk about, if I had to pick based on those arguments, honestly, I'd give the point to Keith, personally, because of that. What do you think?
I mean, regardless of what I say, Keith is going to get this point because not only did the audience agree with you, so did Kev. I probably honestly would have given it to Dexter. I grew up with Dexter and I grew up with obviously Family Guy, but I know what Dexter's capable of, and there is something I will discuss.
You can't give him the point just
No,
because
I'm not.
you gotta give the point based on the argument.
Yeah,
No, based on the argument alone, again, when it came to majority vote, Keith wins this.
Yes.
Okay, so we're tied 1 point apiece.
This is the most pressure because I've smoked everybody in trivia this weekend, but debating is difficult.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not seasoned at debating.
Okay, so
And you forced me
Sean,
to debate in English, man. Come on.
so Sean, you lost the last debate. You get first dibs on Muhammad Ali versus Rocky Balboa.
Oh god. I'm gonna be very risky here. I'm gonna go Rocky.
Okay.
Rocky
Balboa.
Yeah.
So Keith's going to argue for Muhammad Ali. Sean, get us started.
And go.
Alright, so yes, Rocky Balboa is the underdog, but I was going to go in a different route. See, you got a different kind of battle going on here than just two boxers. One of them is a realistic historical character, and the other one is completely fictional. And within the confines of literature and writing and movie-based knowledge, he is the hero and always will win. And we have seen this in the movies, except for the one time, but he always comes out on top in the end. So, he has literature on his side and script writing in this fight. Rocky Balboa.
Nice. Okay.
Impressive. And
Keith.
Go, Keith.
So Muhammad Ali has proven that he possesses both skill, technique, and strength. He knocked Sonny Liston out with one punch, sent him off of his feet. He has outmaneuvered several different opponents in his illustrious career. With, let's see here, I think there was one match where he only hit someone 4 times, outmaneuvered them for about 6 rounds, still won. So he can do anything. He doesn't have to hit you with one punch, he doesn't have to outmaneuver you, he doesn't have to outspeed you, he can do it all.
That was impressive. That was actually all 30 seconds.
Okay, very nice. All right.
Yes.
And go.
Alright, so going back to my initial argument about literature writing, yes, your argument is that he can do it all, but so can Rocky Balboa. Each movie he comes back, he learns new techniques, new strategies, new ways to beat his opponent. He also can do it all. So if that's your only argument about Muhammad Ali, that he can do it all, I make the exact same case for Rocky Balboa. He can do it all, plus the power of movie magic and movie industry. As the hero, as the protagonist, he will, as the underdog, come out on top.
Time. Would you like to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And go.
See, the problem with this particular battle is you get one shot, you don't get a comeback. Muhammad Ali, very few times has he ever had to come back. He usually wins the first time. He does it right the first time, he knows he needs to do it right the first time, he gets the job done. He floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee. So, as far as his losses, which I can't remember even how many, he never did actually lose a title. Rocky lost his title, if I'm not mistaken, at least twice, although I guess Rocky 5 doesn't actually count. So never mind about that.
Okay. All right, audience, what do y'all think about those arguments?
I feel like it's a tie.
Think so?
And that's, you know, the initial argument, fictional character versus real person, that's what makes it so difficult.
Yep.
It's just, yeah.
It's a tie.
Okay.
So they say tie?
It's a draw.
So far, according to the audience, they're calling a tie here. To be totally honest with you, based on those arguments, I would kind of agree.
Yeah,
I can't really pick one or the other.
I mean, again, I'm going to go with the audience on this. It's a tie.
Okay, you know what? It's a tie.
All right.
Point.
2-2.
Point 2-2.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to our main screen here. Our next one is Teen Titans versus the Power Rangers.
Gentlemen's agreement?
Sure, if you're okay with me taking the Teen Titans, sure.
I'm good with either side.
I don't know.
Okay, they have a gentleman's agreement.
Okay, fair enough.
Alright, gentlemen's agreement. Titans versus Power Rangers.
And
Okay.
since lack of die, rock, paper, scissors, see who wins.
Alright, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Paper, scissors.
It's like watching Dragon Ball Z and trying to figure out who won.
That's pretty much every time we do our games too.
That's the problem.
Okay, so Sean, you're going for Power Rangers, right?
Yes.
And Keith for the Teen Titans.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sean, take us on.
And 1, 2, 3, go.
Alright, so the argument is very easy here that it is a team of 5 versus a team of 5. Now, the first argument I'm going to make, and they're also all teenagers, but we need to look at their power levels, weapons, capabilities. So, Power Rangers all have equal set powers. That is an actual disadvantage, I will admit that. Whereas the Teen Titans have more versatile powers and can cover more ground. But the Power Rangers are much more unified in what their powers are allowing them to do, and they're able to increase their powers over time. We keep on seeing a new generation of Power Rangers over and over again as they get more progressively stronger, whereas the Teen Titans are consistently just them.
And time for the Teen Titans to go.
Right, Keith, take it away.
So, with the higher versatility of the Teen Titans, the other thing you have to take into account is the Power Rangers have been seen retreating several times. They retreat at the beginning of the episode, they come back, they win. Good for them. Teen Titans, they try as hard as they can not to do that. Now, don't get me wrong, they have done that quite a few times. However, you've got a high decibel cannon. You've got someone who can turn into any animal they want to. You've got a woman with dark powers. You've got a woman who can shoot energy blasts. And one man to command them all from a practical standpoint.
Okay.
Okay. Sean, would you like to retort?
Absolutely.
And go.
Okay, so you got the one who can turn into an animal, you got the one with the guns, but every single one of them has a giant, powerful weapon that can shoot massive quantities of energy from the morphing grid. The morphing grid is a powerful energy source that encompasses all of the galaxy itself and gives them their powers. Plus, they have their Zords. You want to talk giant animals? Talk about giant mechanical T-Rex, saber-tooth tiger, all their Zords coming together would trump the Titans. The best thing the Titans got on a giant scale like that would be their tower.
Done.
Okay.
By the way, okay.
Okay, for
Because I'm mentioning morphing grid.
Yeah.
And go.
Terrifying monsters are no stranger to the Teen Titans. Plasmus, Cinderblock, I'm trying to remember, Mammoth. You know, the giant, larger enemies are no stranger to them, and they take them down every time. Again, all it comes down to, as long as Robin keeps a clear head, which again, you know, the Power Rangers, they have very good tactics. They might take him out in the beginning, but he knows better. So long as he can keep the Teen Titans on track, basically, he'll lead them to victory. However,
Done.
yeah.
Okay. Folks.
Yeah.
Audience, what do y'all think?
Who had the better argument? It's like looking at a bunch of deer heads.
Power Rangers had better argument. It was much better structured and hit
Yeah.
points.
But the Teen Titans would win.
I favor Teen Titans,
It's a matter of the characters.
but it's
Yeah,
debate.
just
So the debate standpoint, who won? Sean. Okay, Sean got this point.
Okay. Although I do have to slap the hand on one thing we did mention before, Zords are not part of this. It's just 5
Oh,
on
did
5.
you say that?
Zords are not a part of this.
Yes, Zords are not in this equation. It's just 5 on 5.
My bad.
But it's fine.
But yeah, but
I
as
mean,
far
it's
as-
still an argument to be made. It would, if this were an actual death battle, they would bring up the Zords, despite the fact they would not be able to use them.
I mean, the Death Battle Power Rangers versus Voltron was awesome.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right. So we come to the last part here. So Sean is in the lead with 3. Keith with 2. If Keith does win this one, it will go into a tie. Then we'll have a tiebreaker using my honorable mentions. Otherwise, if Sean wins this one, he will take home the grand prize.
By the way, this happened last year when we tied. We had to use an honorable mention to settle
Yeah,
this.
it literally did. So, my number 1 death battle. Now, I have to turn to the camera here. Screw Attack, I am imploring you to do this battle.
This will make you money.
This is going to blow the roof off the place. There's so many implications, so many possibilities. Everybody's going to be super behind this. It might even be your most popular
The
one.
thing is, you laugh at this, but when you see this screen, it's gonna also ring cha-ching.
Yes, exactly. Please do this Screw Attack. My number 1 is Ben 10 versus Beast Boy.
We have green skin versus green power. What else is money?
The implications for this battle are endless. What these two can do to each other. Of course, I have my idea of who I think is going to win.
Likewise, so do I.
Yes, I'm saving it for after this debate, and then we do our grand discussion. But I really hope Screw Attack takes this idea, and I really want to see how these debates are going to go.
Beast Boy needs no introduction, but for those who don't know, has the power to change into any animal. Ben 10. Well, Ben Tennyson was a little boy, 10 years old, discovered a little thing called the Omnitrix. What he didn't know is what that summer was going to become. He ends up becoming a hero. Jump forward 6 years later, he's 16, puts on the wristwatch again, only to become a hero once again.
Could you say it started with an alien device that did what it did?
Exactly.
It's done right there upon his wrist.
Basically.
With secrets that it hid.
Okay, so since Sean is in the lead, Keith, you get first dibs. Who do you want to debate for?
I'm choosing Beast Boy because I know only very, very, very few things about Ben 10.
Okay, so Keith for Beast Boy, Sean for Ben 10. Keith, get started.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Are we just arguing solo characters, or can we bring in extra characters?
Solo characters.
So it's just Ben versus Garth.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And Keith, you're up.
Alright, so Beast Boy has the obvious advantage of time. Ben 10 always has to look at the Omnitrix, spin it, focus on it, slap it in. Beast Boy, at command, changes into any animal he wants to. He has unlimited options here. Turn into a boa constrictor, wrap around his arm, cover the Omnitrix, cut his circulation off till it falls off, he loses his arm, he can still fight, but he's not lasting much longer. You know, turn into a saber-tooth tiger, bite the arm off. Again, his Omnitrix is lost. He's running around scared, bleeding to death.
Okay,
unlimited options.
Sean, get him back.
Okay, so you started off talking about Ben 10 as a 10-year-old boy, but the image you have up here is when he's a teenager. He's over the age of 10, and this is where he has access to a lot more alien creatures, and his Omnitrix has evolved to the point where it has voice command capabilities on it now. So he doesn't always have to slap it. He has more control over that, but now he can actually change into aliens on the fly if he needs to in stressful situations. So this is older, more experienced Ben 10 with a lot more alien creatures. You're talking about Beast Boy who can only turn into human animal, or not human, to earthling animals on this planet.
Time. Okay. And Ken, with your approval, since this is the last round, so to speak, so far, why don't we give the last 2 retorts 45 seconds?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Reply.
All right. So, you know, disregarding Beast Boy's unlimited options, one thing he's very driven by is his emotions. Now, not knowing much about Ben 10, I can tell you for sure, as the battle progresses, Beast Boy gets more upset, but he also gets more determined. He won't give up. He may stay as, you know, let's say an elephant chasing down. He may stay as a tiger, you know, just keep grabbing him until he stops. Doesn't matter. He can do it. But I just don't know enough about Ben 10. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll call him time.
Okay.
I don't know enough about Ben 10.
Last retort.
So again, my primary argument is that Beast Boy is limited in what he can do. Yes, he can turn into almost any single animal on the planet as is, but Ben 10's individual alien creatures he can turn into have so many abilities. Upgrade alone can hack into any computer system and use it against you and weaponize itself. He could like just jump onto a car and turn the car into a weaponized function that could destroy any one of your animals. Forearms could easily take down your elephant. Diamond Head is impenetrable and can reflect energy light back at you and stab you with any kind of crystallized weapon. So one individual alien creature can do multiple things as opposed to your one character turning into many different animals, but each one of those animals is limited in what they can do as a human, as an animal of Earth.
Okay.
Okay. Audience.
That was a unanimous decision.
Okay. Based on the arguments, I would have to agree.
Yeah.
All right. So with a score of 4-2, Sean is our winner.
That was great, gentlemen. That was great.
Debating's difficult.
Sean, for you, this is a pair of Pokeball serving bowls. Okay.
Gotta snack them all.
There you go. Guys, thanks for playing, guys.